I've lived on this street for 6 years, long enough to know the routines of everyone around me. The woman 3 houses down who waters her plants every morning at 6:45 a.m. The retired couple next door who blast classical music on Saturdays. And the kids who leave their bikes all across the sidewalk like landmines. It's a quiet neighbourhood. It's predictable but safe, except for the house directly across the street from mine. It's the only one no one talks about. It only becomes occupied in May. It's not abandoned exactly. All year round it just sits there, lawn slightly overgrown, windows shut tight, no mail, no deliveries, no movement. Then May comes and everything changes. The porch lights flick on, the grass gets cut, curtains appear in the windows, and someone always moves in. But it's always someone new. We've watched this happen 6 times now. 6 years, 6 different tenants. They never make small talk, never attend the block party. They seem to stay indoors most of the time. And without fail, they all leave before the end of May. Always at night, always without saying goodbye. The moment June 1st rolls around, the house goes dark again, like nothing ever happened. This year I decided I wasn't going to ignore it. Not because I was curious, but because this year the person who moved in was a little girl. It was weird though because she appeared to be by herself. I first noticed her on May the 3rd. I was taking out the trash and glanced across the street. She was sitting on the porch steps wearing a bright yellow raincoat, even though it hadn't rained in days. She looked maybe about 9 years old. So I gave her a little wave, but she didn't return it. She just stared. Later that evening, I looked out my window and saw her again. Same place and same posture, unmoving. But this time the porch light was off. She was sitting there in total darkness. Over the next few days, I decided I would start keeping track. She never went to school, and no car ever showed up. No adults ever appeared. But sometimes, in the middle of the night, I'd see a light come on in the upstairs bedroom. Just a flash, a flicker, and then straight back to darkness again. And once, just once, I swear I saw a shadow move just past the curtain, but it was too tall to be hers. On May 10th, I heard something new. It was around 2 a.m. The neighbourhood was dead quiet when I heard a sound like shuffling footsteps on the pavement. I looked out the window and saw the girl standing in the middle of the road, facing my house. Her hands were at her sides, her head tilted ever so slightly, and it kinda looked like she was trying to listen to something inside my walls. She stayed like that for nearly 10 minutes. Then she turned and walked back to the house. The door opened before she even reached the steps, and then it appeared to close by itself. The next morning I decided I would ask around, just casually, to the mailman, the woman down the street, and the old couple. No one acknowledged the house, not directly. They'd say things like, some properties just don't sell, or people come and go, and it's best not to get involved. But it wasn't just avoidance, it seemed like fear, real practice fear. On May 17th, I've had enough. I crossed the street. I told myself it was just a check-in, just to see if she needed help. It had been over 2 weeks by this stage. I rang the bell. No answer. I knocked. Nothing. But as I turned to leave, I heard her voice, faint from inside. She said, "You shouldn't be here after dark." Her voice didn't sound afraid. It sounded like she was reciting something, like she'd been told to warn me. That night I didn't sleep. It was around the same time, around 2 a.m. again, when I heard a scraping sound outside. When I looked out, I saw that the front door of the house was wide open. No lights, no sign of the girl, just whispers, barely audible, like dozens of voices speaking in unison from just behind the doorway. I recorded a few seconds on my phone, but the audio only picked up silence, not even wind. On May 22nd, I called Child Protective Services. They said no such property was registered as occupied, that their records showed it as vacant. They even offered to send someone, but I never saw anyone come. And that night something changed. The girl came to my porch. She stood there, just like I had seen her do across the street. Silent, still. I opened the door slowly and asked if she needed help. She looked up at me and said, "They're running out of time, so now they need someone new." Before I could ask what she meant, she turned and walked away. I should have let it end there, but on May 24th, tonight, I crossed the street one last time. The door was open again. Inside the house smelled like dust and old wood. The furniture was covered in white sheets, but there were footprints in the dust. Small ones, like a child's, leading up the stairs. And then bigger ones, barefoot, leading into the basement. So I followed. The basement door didn't creak. It just opened silently in the total darkness. My flashlight flickered as I stepped onto the first stair. There was something below the house. Not a basement, not really. The air changed, it got warmer but heavier, like standing next to a generator. I could hear something. Breathing. Not human. Deep, wet and steady. Then I saw the wall. It was covered in drawings. Children's drawings. Dozens. Maybe even hundreds. All in crayons and charcoal. Some of them showed the house. Some showed people walking into it. But never any of people walking out. One of them showed me, standing at the bottom of the stairs. I ran, back up the stairs, back into the night. The door slammed shut behind me on its own. I didn't sleep, I didn't eat, but I watched. Watched as the girl sat on the porch again the next day, calm, expressionless, as if nothing even happened. And tonight, May 31st, she's gone. The house is in total darkness again, but something's changed. Across the street, in my own driveway, there's a box. Inside it, a child's drawing. This one shows my house, with the windows glowing, and a figure in the upstairs bedroom. But it's not me. I don't know what that house is. I don't know who or what lives there the other 11 months of the year, but I do know this. Every May it opens its door, and every May it sends something back across the street. Don't wave at the new neighbours. Don't answer the door after dark. And whatever you do, don't go inside.